Yeah. All right. So I'm gonna actually just start with a couple slides because what I have discovered in talking to a lot of CMOs is that there's still a lot of questions about like the conversation that we just had isn't the normal conversation that I'm having. Even at Inbound a couple weeks ago with some of like the brightest, most leading edge marketers I know. So that with that, I'm just going to pull up a couple of slides. This concept of prompts to pipeline, I've actually seen a couple of companies talking about it. And so I'm going to kind of unpack that and then I'll show the actual use case with metadata. So first, I want to just level set on this MCP server because I think if you don't know what it is, it pretty quickly the conversation, it's like, what are you even talking about? And I just joke around because like 5-6 months ago, if you asked ChatGPT what MCP was, when I was asking it, it kept saying model or marketing content portal. And so it didn't even know, right? It's such a new concept, but I think of it like a bridge and it stands for model context protocol, but it like that doesn't even describe it for me. So I made a little picture because I am very visual. So take this idea of where we just were talking about all these agents, and agents can do a lot of different things, and you can create like handoffs and workflows from agent to agent. But when you put them all together and you build out an MCP server connector and then connect that to another platform, in this case, metadata, but like HubSpot has an MCP server connector. So whatever that larger platform is, then you've got this bridge between what all of your agents can do, what the platform can do, and what the LLM that you're in can do. So just, I mean, imagine how powerful that is, right? So in the case of metadata, metadata is doing digital advertising in all of the different advertising channels. And right now you build all that inside of metadata and you get your reports and you can analyze stuff, but um, not at the power of what an LLM can do. So now I can analyze information across my CRM, my metadata platform, everything that's going on outside of that, like what are my competitors doing, in the ether, and I can even bring in like ask for best practices in the market to analyze my campaigns and what's working and get recommendations on how to build a new campaign, what audiences should I use, what channels, what language, getting into creating those assets, what copy should I use if my competitors are saying this and I'm saying that, and this is what's performing both for best for both, like how do I marry that up and then create a new campaign? So just, I mean, the ability to do that in 5-10 minutes is like a miracle in itself. And then you can actually deploy it from the MCP server and then back to like agents can optimize for you, or you can give parameters and tell those agents like what to do next so that they're 24/7 like optimizing on your behalf. So with that, I'm gonna switch over to a different screen. Actually, I can have this pulled up here. So inside the metadata platform, there's all these different experiments going on, all these different campaigns running. There's budgets and audiences and reports and all this different information that has been built out and has been running from the metadata instance. So today, metadata already within that, you can turn on, you can decide if you want auto bid or manual bid, or you can run a bid agent example. And then, there's also these experiments happening behind the scenes. So you're putting a threshold, you're saying, this is the outcome I'm trying to get. Here's the max number of spend I want. but here's, 3 different campaigns and 3 different offers and 3 different creatives. So multiply that, and I've got, let's say, 12, 16 different experiments I'm running, and it's being optimized. So that's within the platform. But then when I go to connect this to the MCP server, and I'm just going to show how it's done. So in this case, within metadata, you get this access token here, and you're just cutting and pasting it, and I'm going to put it into Claude. It's very similar with HubSpot and some of the other ones I've seen. So, I mean, it's really as simple as like you get this code and now you're connecting it to your LLM. So I'm going to stop sharing here and I'm just going to pull up Claude. So inside Claude, which I'll say is running better than ChatGPT today, but I know ChatGPT is, building this out too. I have my metadata MCP server connected, and then these are all the different agents that are built out and turned on within it. So I have control, like I can turn on and off any agent I want. I could say, oh, I don't want to be able to launch a campaign from here. That's, I know, out of my comfort zone. I'm going to turn that piece off. I'm going to turn it back on, but I don't want it touching my budget, right? So I could turn that piece off, but also when I'm looking at like budget allocation, I want that on for analysis. So again, you can see there's all these different agents turned on here, and I'll just also show like to get that set up, to get it turned on, you just go into connectors, and then this is a custom connector. So that code that I showed you in metadata, I'm just going to add, I would add the custom connector, and then that's how it got turned on there. And again, this is like all of the different agents that I just showed you. And here you've got even another level of control. So I can say, allow it to do something unsupervised or ask permission before you do it. So in some of these cases, like anything with my budget, I'm saying you need to ask permission. So again, just to give you an idea of like the amount of control and how this is built out. And so now I've got all these agents and I'm connected to metadata's instance. And then I can come in and basically just start prompting like I would with any other time that I'm prompting to get questions answered. So in this case, I started just to make sure, everything was working before we started. So I just asked it, are you connected to the metadata and MCP server? It answered me yes, and saying, I have access to, and it just kind of breaks down into categories, some of these different agents that are built out so that it can tell me, like, I can help you analyze campaign performance, create new campaigns, optimizing existing ones, etc. So then I'm gonna start prompting to try to create a new campaign. And I'm basically giving Claude a time frame. I'm saying, okay, starting with today, you're a marketing AI assistant with access to our MCP tools. I want you to look at last month's top performing LinkedIn campaigns based on this criteria. And again, there's lots of criteria, right? So I'm going to be really specific in this case because otherwise it's going to try to crunch all that information. And I'm also giving it a time frame, last month. So I put a start date, go into the last month, and then analyze this information specifically. And I'm also telling it to be specific to LinkedIn campaigns. So there's lots of other channels that we're running, but keep it to this one channel. And then make suggestions to improve my past high performing offers and ads and then help me create a new optimized offer, LinkedIn copy, a campaign strategy, and clearly label all that. And by the way, I also had competitor strategies in there. So now this is then pulling from the web. We have a competitor agent built that can go and scrape and see, like, here's what the other campaigns are that are being run in your competitive set in LinkedIn. And so that now you've got all this different information to look from. So Claude is now going in and starting to analyze, and you can see, what it's looking at. It's going into the metadata instance, pulling out all this information. It's also looking at trends. So again, going into the internet, and so funny even saying the word internet now, but looking at other articles and things that have been posted in 2025 about the best tips and tricks for optimizing your campaigns. And it's even looking at videos about it and watching thought leadership content, and then diving more into my performance metrics. And then it's saying, okay, here's what your top performing audience is, and looking at all of our different audiences, etc. And, it's going to keep going and going. It'll actually give me links to offers and things. This would take me back into the platform, so I won't click it right now. And then it says, okay, the LinkedIn ad has been created successfully. Here's your URL. Now let me create a budget group. And so it's starting to build this out. Let me create another variation of the copy so you have options. And then it's just giving me, here are 3 different campaign offers with the optimized offer, or actually 2 different creatives, and a summary for it. And on top of that, it's telling me the expected performance of the campaign, how much pipeline it will likely generate based on my past campaigns, and telling me what to do next. So, because with that, I'm going to ask it to actually go and create the new campaign. And I'm going to have it create it based on this audience. So I know that, and it's in here somewhere, but this audience is the one I want to use, and I just want it to just go in and build this campaign out for me. So I'm gonna hit enter on that, and now it's going to be thinking for a little while. So this is why I already typed this other stuff out. And then again, it's working on this in the background, and so it's building this. So I'm just going to let it think for a minute, and I'm just going to look back up here too. It's talking about how I should configure my budget groups, and I'm looking at the spend, and I'm also looking at how much pipeline it's saying that I'll probably generate with this. And so I'm thinking, I have a little bit more to spend than what it was recommending. So I always I'm gonna just test it out here, and this is my curveball. So I'm just gonna throw it in, and I'm gonna say, you know what, I have $20,000 to spend, and I need to generate as much pipeline as possible in the next 30 days. So can you make adjustments? So I'm just gonna type that. So have ah Okay. So just again, letting it run, just so you can kind of see the power of this and how this will allow you, as you know, to be strategic, to really think through things, to kind of work with your LLM, but still with all this power at your fingertips and like information at your fingertips to make informed decisions and build out campaigns and strategies. Again, I mean, I think we've been maybe 15 minutes here at the most, so it's pretty cool. And then I'm going to ask it to create a new campaign. So it revised the campaign strategy. Now I'm going to ask it to actually create the new campaign based on this recommendation. And, you know, obviously I would normally review it, make sure I agree with it, and see if I had any other tweaks before I asked it to create the campaign. But for the sake of this, as soon as it's done, I'll ask it to create the new one, and then we will deploy it, and I'll show you how that works, and then we'll be all set. So I'm just going to let it through. So it's actually creating it. Now let me create the high converting. Oh, yeah, it's doing that. So I won't do that. I'm just going to ask it to deploy it. So it's still thinking also. Okay, that's it. There. It's creating, oh. So I'm going to have to show another screen and go back to the platform to show you this. But if I wanted to check it, if I wanted to see what this creative looks like and how it actually looks, I would go back into the platform. So I have to open the link and share. Wish you could see this all at once, but so that link took me to this page, and you can see here that this new offer header that was described by Claude, this copy, everything that was written, it's all in here. The landing page it's recommending that we go to is here. You know, the CTA, again, this is based on what's been working the best, all the analysis that's been done. It's all selected for me here, and everything is, you know, built. I can update the offer or I can save it as is. So from there, I'm going to go back to Claude. I'm going to try publishing it. Hopefully it will work, and that will be the end. So I'm saying, okay, it looks great. I like these recommendations. I want to generate this much pipeline. I'm going to hit publish right up here. And it's right here to publish and copy the link. And it's been published. Now it's LinkedIn, so it still takes the standard like 24 hours for everything to get optimized on LinkedIn side. If I wanted to, I could go pause it or cancel it because of that, but otherwise it's done. And this is all working for me in the background, and I can go do something else.
It's amazing, Lisa. Super futuristic. And I believe you are the first MarTech advertising demand gen solution with integration of this sort. But correct me if I'm wrong.
Well, I'll say I know that HubSpot has an MCP connector, and there's some things you can do with it, but not, I mean, I haven't seen anything like this. This is by far the coolest use case, and I feel like the most powerful that I have seen anywhere. And I've been looking, so yeah.
100% blind. And for all of our community members who are watching, what's the best next step to engage, try? Is there some freemium?
Yeah. Well, I will put a link to the Metadata One landing page, and we are doing another webinar on it if you just want to see it again and you don't want to talk to somebody. So that'll be on Thursday. So I'll drop a link to that in here. There's a free trial for the bid agent piece of this, and that is just the piece that connects to your LinkedIn and optimizes your bidding for you. But we have a 14-day free trial for that. So I can drop a link to that in there. And if anybody has any questions or wants to talk more with me, I will also drop my LinkedIn. It's the best way to get a hold of me.